and I don't know what to believe, but I know this much is true. I could not be where I am or do the things I do if I was not walking hand in hand with you.
And welcome to our show, Voices of the Community, a local showcase of independent music. In the studio today, we have Boxcar Figaro. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
Please tell us your names and the position you have in the band.
My name is Victor DeRoche, and I'm the rhythm guitar player, the lead vocalist, harmonica player, and the band songwriter.
My name is Dan Webb-Howard, and I play electric guitar.
My name is Dave Johnson, and I am percussion.
What genre do you feel your band is in?
I think we're, the genre today would be considered Americana, singer-songwriter, kind of between those two. And I like to think we're perhaps a little punchier than the regular singer-songwriter in that we have Dan, who's an exceptional electric guitar player, and I kind of do the singer-songwriter thing, and then he provides, really it's almost a conversation between the two of us with Dave keeping us honest.
Wonderful. What do you think your biggest influences are for Boxcar Figaro?
I love Mark Knopfler as a songwriter, especially a lot of the stuff that he did after Dire Straits. That's really kind of I think he's the best songwriter out there. That's kind of what I reach for. Growing up, I listened to a ton of Jackson Browne and quite a bit of Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, which would probably explain why my songs end up with a little bit of quirky weirdness thrown in them every once in a while.
And when did your band start?
Boxcar Figaro originally started in 2008 in Fresno, California. So I lived in Fresno for 30 years. I went to college down there and ended up staying, getting married. Had the band. Started as a duo, ended up being 3 people and then 4 people. We had a few people move through the band. It was successful. And then I moved up to Eugene in 2020. Right during COVID, so I didn't get to do very much, but once COVID started clearing up, I met Dan, and we started playing as Boxcar Figaro, using some of my old material, writing new material, and then, so that was probably around 2022, and then Dave joined us about 1.5 years ago.
Wonderful. Let's talk about your song, Anywhere You Go. Could you tell us more about it?
Anywhere You Go is it's one of my newer songs, and when I write songs, I will start playing chords or a melody or something will come to me, and then I try to figure out what it's about and how it works. So a lot of times I use cliches when I'm trying to figure out lyrics. To me, I think of lyrics almost more as instrumentation rather than the content of the word, and I try to figure out what fits with the sound that I feel like making that goes along with the melody. So one of the tricks is sometimes I'll use cliches or expressions or idioms or something like that to kind of get myself started, and every once in a while they stick to the song and propel me to another area. So Anywhere You Go is really starts from the common phrase, anywhere you go, there you are. And but really I thought, well, how do we take that beyond that statement? And I started thinking about my own personal relationship. The other interesting thing about the song is when I write songs, a lot of times I also think about Carole King and how she was able to write just these brilliant universal songs that are so clean and seem so normal, and every word is perfect. And I always try to write songs like that, and they always end up personal and slightly quirky, and I think Anywhere You Go shows that. But what I found from people who have listened to it is a lot of people really like that song, and I think there's something in that people do find universal coming from the personal side.
That was one of those songs that really drew me in right away when we started playing together. But it's interesting, for a lot of them, I tend to improvise every time. I have certain phrases I will return to, but every time, like Victor says, we're having this conversation, I'm improvising it over it. But that was the one song where I was like, this is really beautiful. I remember the first few times I was like, just don't mess it up. I usually don't think that way when I'm playing, but that was one of those songs where I was kind of like, just don't mess it up.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
And Dave, you had a challenge just figuring out how to play just enough.
Yeah, as percussion, it's such a beautiful, calming, quieter song that doesn't really need a lot of percussion into it. So it was more about figuring out what not to play and when not to play, as opposed to trying to figure out what to play.
Yeah, same thing here. It's like the less is more type of thing sometimes, yeah.
Wonderful. Let's listen to Anywhere You Go now.
Anywhere you go, well, there you are. And part of me is also there with you. And everyone you know is part of you. And I guess by now they're a part of me too. I can see your mom when you're at the stove making Ovaltine, and your best friend from middle school when you dance, and the first boy you ever kissed is still kinda kissing me. That's a weird thought, but right now it makes me laugh. Everyone you know is part of you. And I guess by now they're a part of me too. I can see the light of your dad's eyes when you're making jokes. And I can feel the warmth of your friendships when I hold your hand. And all those English teachers who taught you poetry did a better job than they'll ever understand. Everyone you know is part of you, and I guess by now they're a part of me too. And anywhere you go, well, there you are. And all of me is glad I'm there with you. All of me is glad I'm there with you.
Welcome back. I wanted to ask you about one more song, the song We Gotta Work Safe. Could you tell us more about that?
So I've been an industrial safety professional for about 8 years working in manufacturing. And I had applied for a job. And during the course of the interview, the HR director had been looking at my LinkedIn profile and saw that I was also a band musician and band leader. And she said, "Oh, have you ever written a safety song?" And I said, "No." And she says, "Well, you should." And then when they hired me, I thought, well, was that part of what I'm supposed to do for my job? Was that a commitment that I made during the interview? I didn't know. So I thought, well, I better write a safety song. So I ended up writing the song, and I liked the way it turned out. So I gave it to the company, and they put it on their website and had people listen to it. And I think it addresses industrial safety pretty well.
It's a good song. Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's listen to We Gotta Work Safe right now.
I like to run a couple miles, tell bad jokes and make folks smile, brush my cats, watch for birds, hear my wife when she's making words, smell the cooking, work with wood, ride my bike when the weather's good, sail my boat, wash the cars, drink some tea and play guitars. You and I cannot do all the things we love if we get hurt today. So hey there, look out mate, you know we've gotta work safe. That is our primary mission, to help each other as we make the world a better place, and to get through life without any body parts missing. We've got razor knives, lifting tables, battery chargers, power cables, laser cutters, impact wrenches, handheld grinders, and some on benches, mills, drills, and more machines. Some could take your hand off clean, tripping hazards in walkways, and welders that could burn your eyes for days. And you and I cannot do all the things we love if we get hurt today. So hey there, look out mate, you know we've gotta work safe. That is our primary mission, to help each other as we make the world a better place, and to get through life without any body parts missing. So there's a plan for site evacuations, first aid kits and eye wash stations, lockout, tagout, forklift training, rules for safe crane operating, files of safety data sheets, vending for the PPE, bag houses to capture fumes, and signs to wash your hands in all the restrooms. And you and I cannot do all the things we love if we get hurt today. So hey there, look out mate, you know we gotta work safe. That is our primary mission, to help each other as we make the world a better place, and to get through life without any body parts missing.
And we're back. What's the future direction of Boxcar Figaro?
Well, we've been playing around primarily in the South Willamette Valley, in Eugene, Cottage Grove, that area. I moved up here in 2020, right in the middle of COVID, so it took a while to get out and start getting back into the community. It took me a while to find other musicians I really gelled with and that we work well together, which this group's great. And so my goal is to keep writing songs and getting out and playing them for people, and trying to get into more venues and keep building our audience and making more music. It's just what I seem to do. I mean, I take great joy in that. You guys?
And we're slowly working on recording a couple songs to get those out there. And
Could you tell us about your song Hand in Hand?
Hand in Hand is a song that I wrote for, when I lived in Fresno, I would participate in the Rogue Festival, which is a fringe festival down in Fresno. And I did shows for 9 years during the festival. And the last show I did was really kind of an exploration of my experience with religion. I grew up in a Catholic household, went to Catholic school, but was never really a person of faith. It never really took with me. And then I spent a lot of time in my 40s just driving around to various parts of California, and I'd find myself driving around at night listening to the radio. And I would tune into stations and I'd hear music and I'd think, well, that seems like a good song, and I'd listen to it, and the lyrics would be just completely non-specific, and there were certain catchphrases and buzzwords that I would hear, and I think, oh, I'm on the Christian station. And I remember thinking, well, I wish there was more passion, more specificity for a subject, you know, for people's religious beliefs and their faith. I just wish that the music and the lyrics were stronger. So I was working on this show, and I said, boy, I wish that I could try to write a song like that. So I tried to write the song as a song that could be interpreted as a Christian song. And when I was writing it and going along, I thought, oh, this song actually seems pretty good. I better make it so it's something that I can actually use myself, so it can also be taken as just a standard love song. And then, you know, the band and I have been playing it for quite a while, and we find it very enjoyable. I find it very enjoyable because sometimes we start faster, sometimes we start slower, but it always presents a pretty good challenge for Dan to keep up and to come up with new stuff. And sometimes we let him have a few extra solos in there just to give him a good workout.
It's a fun one to play to, and it definitely was one of the ones that challenged me the most. We've been talking about two of the songs that challenged me the most in a totally different way, which is when we talked about Anywhere You Go, it's keeping it as subtle as possible, not being too out front. And then Hand in Hand, it's like this is a really driving rhythm, and it inspires me to try to play things that I think 90% of the time I actually can play, and that other 10%, you know, you just roll with it. But yeah, I have a background doing improvisation for a lot of styles of music, but I've really, before starting to play with Victor and in Boxcar Figaro, one thing I really hadn't done was like the country Americana stuff. So it just makes me think, you know, I'd done a lot of like Latin jazz, hard bop jazz, rock, funk, things like that. But the vibe of that song did push me to think about soloing in a different way, which was fun, and countrifying myself a little bit.
Wonderful.
Yeah, when I joined the band about a year and a half ago, it was kind of a trial by fire. Met Victor a couple nights before at a local song circle, and I had my previous band had just kind of quit and retired, and so asked at the circle if anybody was looking for percussion, and he said, hey, we're playing a gig on Sunday, and this was like Saturday. He's like, tomorrow, trial by fire, come on out. And so this was a fun song to just kind of figure out that real big driving force, and just trying to keep it chugging along.
Wonderful. Well, let's listen to Hand in Hand by Boxcar Figaro right now.
Sometimes I get lost in these city lights. Sometimes I can't see the forest through the trees. But in the darkest hour of my night, I know if I call, you will come to me. And I don't know what to believe, but I know this much is true. I could not be where I am or do the things I do if I was not walking hand in hand with you. And I know that you're always with me in my heart. But sometimes in my mind I forget till I work my way back into the light of your love. And you fill in all the shadows of my silhouette. And I don't know what to believe, but I know this much is true. I could not be where I am or do the things I do if I was not walking hand in hand with you. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound saved a wretch like me. I've been lost and I've been found, was blind, now I see. And I don't know what to believe, but I know this much is true. I could not be where I am or do the things I do if I was not walking hand in hand with you. If I was not walking hand in hand with you.
Welcome back to Voices of the Community. In the studio we have Boxcar Figaro. Gentlemen, where can we find out more information about your band?
The best place for information about our band is at boxcarfigaro.com, our website. We're also on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we have music on CD Baby, Apple Music, places like that.
YouTube.
Spotify.
Good YouTube presence, yeah.
Great.
Real world.
And in the real world.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with us today on Voices of the Community, and thank you, Boxcar Figaro, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having
It's been a
us.
pleasure.
Anywhere you go, well, there you are. And part of me is also there with you.